Okay, so I was going to film on my laptop, but all the natural light is gone, so I just deleted an app on my phone so I could get more storage space to film this, but I only have... Okay, I have to delete more. Hang on, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Kind of. I only have like 12 minutes. Should I watch half of episode 2 of Hard Stain and then continue when I have more storage? That won't do. No! Okay. I'll be back. I'm back. I even deleted CapCut off my phone so I can tell. It's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. I think. Alright. Let's try this. Let's see if it works. You can tell the quality on my phone is much better than for the first reaction. I don't know. I don't know if anyone's gonna see these reactions. It's just for fun. Alright. Hard Stain. I'll get there. Alright. Ooh, I'm excited. I've seen episode 2, but I haven't seen the rest, so I'm still excited. Alright. Let's see. I usually skip openings because I feel like they give too much away most of the time. Like, why are you spoiling the show for me? Why are you spoiling? But it's fun to watch once in a while as well. To try and predict things as well. No, but seriously, sometimes they spoil the ending as well when they do that. Even that shot of like the characters holding hands, like it's fairly obvious who will become a couple in the series, even within like the first 10 minutes. But especially with the fact that the teacher is not really a love interest, someone who can reciprocate feelings for the protagonist Woo-hyun. But still spoiling. Oh yeah, so he does see the teacher here. The teacher looks awfully familiar. I wouldn't be surprised if I've seen him as a side character in a BL before. But I don't remember where I've seen him.
우연아. 죄송해요.
The interruption in the music. Hang on, I can't see this.
아니 무슨 생각을 하길래 불러도 대답이 없어. 방학이라고 늦게 잤구나. 지금부터 체력 관리 잘해야 돼. 우연아. 어디 아프니?
죄송해요. 놀라서 공부할 게 있어서 먼저 들어가 보겠습니다. 선생님은 나를 어떻게 생각해?
The teacher definitely seems to at least sense
고작 이마에 손
Woo-hyun's emotions. I don't know to what extent he's interpreting Woo-hyun's actions, but he seems to know a little bit more than he lets on.
정신 차렸네. 다 너 때문이야. 어? 뭐가? 맞지. 너 때문이지. 암튼 맞아. 다 너 때문이야.
그 학교에서 연애는 좀 자제하지.
This joke always
아 맞다. 정민쌤이 너네 둘 부르던데?
culturally specific joke.
몰라?
왜 불렀진 모르겠는데.
근데 넌
I hadn't heard of that joke
난 왜지?
before
가보면 알지 않을까?
before getting into K-pop or BTS.
선생님, 저희 부르셨다면서요.
내가?
네, 박태민이 그러던데요?
난 우연히만 불렀는데.
저요?
Like, why
왜요?
would he say this?
그 학교장 추천서 수시 원서 때 필요하잖아.
Like, even as a
그것
as a
때문에 몇 가지
teacher
확인할 게 있어.
who's treating the
이따가
students
교무실로 와.
neutrally,
네, 그럼요. 언제 가면 될까요?
do you have to
방거 아니야.
specify you're only
아무 때나
looking
와.
for one student?
그럼 내일
He's
가도
definitely
되나요?
treating Woo Hyun
또
with
이런다.
with more affection, like
정쳤다.
definitely platonic
둘다 오늘
affection, I
교실에
think.
들어가고.
네, 이따 교무실로 갈게요.
이따 보자.
But he's still like treating him differently than
너
like a
선생님
teacher
좋아하나
that's like completely unaware
몰랐을 땐 하나도
or
티 안 났는데
or doesn't have any kind of
알고 나니까 엄청
fondness for a
진짜?
student.
미안하다.
아, 사과해. 뭐 아쉬운 건 내 쪽인데 별 수 있어?
그래도
그럼 손잡고 가도 돼?
지금 여기 학교인데?
어차피 지금 다 교실 가서 아무도 없잖아.
Oh, that's the shot from the opening.
넌 손잡는 게 그렇게 좋아?
당연하지. 사귀는 사이인데 안 좋아할
That's
수
right.
없지.
I mean, it's daring of
난
him.
누가 봐도 모른다.
아무도 안 본다니까.
It's cool. Okay, so
이소리?
I've been meaning to talk about this scene because as someone who has seen the first two episodes, I think this scene is what really caught my attention for how they handled it. But hang on, let me continue and then I'll speak my thoughts.
방금 그 대화 뭐냐? 설마 둘이 사귀냐? 어떻게 그럴 수가?
그 소리야. 그게 아니라
네가 연애를 할 수가 있어? 둘이 언제부터 그런 사이였어?
지금 그것 때문에 이 소중한 점심시간에 여기를 부른 거야?
그게
당연하지. 지금 내 생사가 달렸는데?
이게 왜 네 생사가 달려?
달렸지. 내가 얼마나 신경 쓰고 있었는데.
네가 왜 날 신경 써?
내 맘이지.
이 소리 우연의 소꿉친구. 거의 친남매나 다름없다고 했는데 내 촉이 맞다면 소리는 아마 우연이를.
윤우연이 연애라니.
저기 소리야. 그 아까 학교에서 본 건 잊어줘.
나 지금 완전 충격 먹어서 절대로 안 잊혀질 것 같은데? 넌 손잡는 게 그렇게 좋아? 당연하지.
Why did she eavesdrop to this extent?
난 누가 봐도 모른다. 아무도 안 본다니까. 진짜. 왜 그래, 윤우연?
그렇게 됐어. 아무튼 소리야. 미안.
너가 윤우연이랑 연애하는 게 미안할 일이야?
너 괜찮은 거야?
뭐가? 둘이 뭐 남자라서? 나 완전 노편견인데 그런 거에?
아니 그게 아니라
덕토 너 지금 무슨 얘기를 하는 거야?
그 소리가 너 좋아하는 거야.
뭐라고?
아니야?
나 올해 들은 말 중에 진짜 제일 짜증나는 말이야.
너는 우리 형 좋아해?
윤우연!
비밀이었냐?
당연히
비밀치고는 형 보고 싶다는 얘기를 너무 많이 한 거 아니야?
다른 사람들한테 비밀인 거지.
너희 형이면 수영이야?
근데 우리 형은 얘한테 관심이 1도 없어. 철저한 짝사랑. 가능성 1% 미만.
윤은
Okay. So the reason why this scene in particular caught my attention is because from the moment that Doha suggests to hold hands with Woohyun, it enters a little bit that cliche of when they're in a public setting, especially a crowded public setting like a school, where on top of that they're basically like in the sort of like area of a school where it's like if no one's around, there's probably at least like one person that would see them out of the window, or people would be walking around at some point, right? And there's a moment between the two main characters where one says, oh, let's do this, and the other character responds with, oh, no one will, or what if someone sees us, and the other says, oh, no one will see us, so, like, don't worry about it. And usually it's true, like in the cliche they do something that no one will see, either that and no one really does see, like truly there's no one in sight, to the point where it's like you're almost in disbelief in some of the settings where you're like, how is there no one? How is no one seeing this? Especially when you actually can see other people and no one takes notice. So either that or it's like a trigger for the biggest downfall known to like humanity, where they say no one will see, and then of course someone sees, and it leads to a truly unwanted situation, a dramatic situation where like potentially it might even cause the rupture of the relationship, right? And here what's clever is that they actually like lean into that trope, they lean into the cliche, and someone actually does notice them. And not only that, but it's subverted the way it is, because we're introduced to this character for the first time, and she stereotypically, especially in ABL, would be considered the female character that is friends with the protagonist Woo-hyun, and who secretly has feelings for either him or Doha and will eventually come in between the relationship. That's the sort of stereotype that her introduction seems to lean into, especially just visually speaking, in terms of like, oh, they were going to hold hands and she interrupts them, which sort of like symbolically could be read as this like figure of disruption, this figure of like separation almost, or just someone who causes an interval. And here it's like they really like wittily address this, where she comes in, and one of the other things as well that you could assume of her is that she might not be open to their relationship, which this scene addresses, and she clarifies for Doha, who's kind of like the audience surrogate in the scene, where he goes, oh, like not only does he think that she has feelings for Woo-hyun, and for a moment it's sort of like deceives the viewer as well in trying to think like, oh, see, like you were right with that hint, like she does have feelings for him, as Doha is so certain of. So that's why he's really taking on the role of an audience surrogate, specifically to an audience that has watched a lot of BLs or romance in general, where they're used to this kind of trope, and then it gets completely flipped over with his thoughts getting completely like solved, or what's the word, like not disqualified, but countered. I can't find the word that I'm thinking of, but essentially just like all of his assumptions get completely like resolved, like changed. And this is and you see this through Woo-hyun and her as well, I forget her name, I'm sorry, where they both react at first as though it's a ridiculous statement that she could be in love with Woo-hyun, but this is not enough, because it could be that simply they are unwilling to admit, and Woo-hyun, who doesn't have feelings for her, doesn't notice it, for instance. But it's the series truly does convince the viewer, and Doha in turn, by having at this stage, Woo Hyun mentioned that she actually has someone for whom she has feelings for, who is Woo Hyun's brother. And so, and especially with the detail that they're giving of him, it leads us to believe that. It leads us to be sure that, oh, yeah, like, this is not, this is not what we assumed, and this is the truth, especially because Doha in particular assumed the contrary. And what's refreshing as well is that it could have so easily gone into, oh, the viewer knows this, but Doha doesn't, and Doha still believes that she has feelings for Woo Hyun, but it's not. So it's kind of like, it's like killing two birds with one stone in this instance, where not only does it sort of like break the like subvert the expectations of the viewer, but it also like in that sense, but also like changes Doha's perception, which once again subverts our expectation that this will lead to a misunderstanding, but it doesn't. Like he also comes to learn the truth. So I thought that was very refreshing and cleverly done, especially with it being kind of inserted with the cliche of, oh, no one will see us hold hands, and so early on in the series, because this is only the beginning of episode 2. So yeah, and they just started dating, whereas typically this kind of scene would happen much later on and in a much more serious fashion.
그쵸.
그러고 보니까 너네 형 한 번도 본 적 없는데.
보면 깜짝 놀랄걸? 완전 존잘이야. 누구 안 닮아서.
진짜리야. 나 닮았어.
진짜 개소리 좀 하지 마라. 넌 그나마 수영 오빠 덕분에 사람 취급 받는 거야. 오빠가 얼마나 잘생겼는데. 학교에 있어서 반대.
And at the same time, it adds to Doha's characterization as someone who notices so much about
우리 사귀는 거 비밀인
Woo
거지?
Hyun
그래, 뭐 남들이 알아서 좋을 거 없으니까.
and is worried about other people,
확인. 이해 완료.
other people's attention
너는
towards him.
이쁘니까 내가 특별히 비밀로 해줄게.
뭐야, 말하는 거 아저씨 같아.
아무튼 도아야, 축하한다. 근데 축하가 맞나? 윤호연이 남친.
고맙다.
아니, 뭐
Doha
남친이가
is a little bit
덕분에
skeptical, but like in a, like generally speaking, he can be quite like not cynical at all. That's the thing. It's like he'll believe it, but he does tend to be
아직도 수능이 세 자릿수가 남았다니.
아직이라니? 벌써 아냐?
to not take everything
빨리 놀고 싶다고.
at surface level.
우연아, 너 추천수 때문에 교무실 가야 되지 않아?
아, 맞다. 아, 이 소리 때문에 까먹었네.
Like he's quite down to earth.
이 소리를.
Doha. Even though he looked back.
자, 지금부터 준비해야 수시원서 넣을 때 편할 거야.
네, 감사합니다.
우연히 이러다 진짜 내 대학 후배 되는 거 아니야?
그러고 싶어요. 잘 보겠습니다.
그래? 그게 왜 세 권이지?
네?
아, 한 권이 빠졌네. 빠진 한 권이 쌤 집에 있나 보다. 우연히 혹시 내일 시간 되니? 쌤이 만나서 줄게.
네.
그래, 그럼 내일 보자.
I just have to say that one thing that surprised me was this plot point. Maybe it's a difference in culture, for sure. It could be, but
그냥 자연스럽게 입어.
would a teacher really go so far just to give a textbook to like ask to meet a student outside of school? Like I feel like you would just give it at school the next time, right? that would be more convenient for all parties. Which is why the series is kind of like
맞니?
ambiguously hinting at like what are the teacher's intentions. So I find that kind of interesting of the series.
괜찮아. 쌤이 어떻게 우연이한테 얻어먹고.
Like what
그래도
is the teacher
주말인데 저 때문에 나오시고
trying to do here?
우연이니까.
It could very much be that he just like cares deeply about Woo-hyun, or maybe he knows
감사합니다 선생님.
he's trying to watch over him.
네.
I'm not too sure. So I'm curious to see where it goes. I feel like if it was to discuss like a project or something, I'd understand meeting outside of school. That would be more
아니에요.
convenient. But to
쌤은
give a
주말인데 뭐안
textbook?
하세요?
To give a textbook?
약속이라던가 데이트라던가.
데이트? 글쎄. 지금은 고3 담임이라 인기가 없네. 왜? 우연이는 쌤이 만나는 사람 있어 보여?
네.
What does it even mean though? Like, of course, I know what it insinuates, but I mean, you don't have to look a certain way to be dating someone either.
쌤도 결혼할 나이긴 하지. 그럼 우연이는 연애 안 해?
네?
지난번에 좋아하는 사람 있다고 했잖아.
아
He's very coy.
그건
우연이는 좋은 남자친구가 될 수 있을 것 같은데.
It's taking me out. Because I know he doesn't. I truly don't think he's trying anything with Woo-hyun. I really think he means it well, but it's just that, of course, we're following Woo-hyun's perspective, so all of it sounds so romantic, so conflicting.
나온 김에 스파 좀 가려고요.
오, 기특하네.
So it's like,
그래,
how am I
그럼
supposed to
저희
feel
한번
about this?
월요일에 보자.
네.
And Woo-hyun is happy regardless, even if the teacher doesn't reciprocate.
여보세요? 뭐해? 밖이야? 톡 안 보길래.
Yeah, there is that interesting moral line of where the teacher fits into this story.
쌤이랑 같이 있어?
And I like that
쌤은 가셨고
that
나는 스카 가려고.
how it's done, because it really does like the teacher's not, in my opinion, crossing the line either. He's being very respectful, keeping a professional distance to some extent.
쌤이 뭐
The,
주셨어?
the textbook is
아 응시비책 3번.
it makes me want to know, like really, like is it like you really you would invite any student outside of school to give them a textbook, or is it like you're doting on Woo-hyun even if you don't have any other intentions?
쌤 만나고 왜 그래?
내가?
응. 아까부터 좀 묘하게 다운돼 있던데.
그 선생님이 공부 잘 돼가냐고 묻잖아. 열심히 하라면서 잔소리도 막 하고.
Does he look down because of the
그런 거 가지고 멘트.
sort of reminder that they can't really
원래
meet
고3
outside of
멘탈은
school like they did
쓰레기잖아.
there? And sort of shows what's not possible between them.
너 이마에 상처 있어.
어?
봐봐.
I like how forward Doha is. I mentioned before I like his frankness.
그림자였나 봐. 잘못 봤네.
Hmm. I find it very beautiful when a character purely follows their feelings, just like gently, but so with so much strength in it, like in the action done, like internally. Though that would be probably quite confusing for Woo Hyun, who has a dilemma of sincerity here.
안녕. 깜짝아. 되게 피곤해 보인다. 어? 아 맞다. 우연아, 책 두고 갔어.
아, 챙겨줘서 고마워.
And the teacher appears again.
주말 잘 보냈니?
네. 쌤,
Yes, please
저 이거
please
듣고
tell us what you're thinking.
우연아 가자.
Doha, of course, is viewing the teacher as a love rival.
아 배고파.
밥 먹은 지 2시간도 안 됐다.
그니까 지금 이 시간에 배고프다고 하는 사람은 너밖에 이건 아니네. 너한테 뭘 먹냐? 밥 안 먹었냐?
신경 꺼.
소리야.
왜?
아니, 어떻게 이렇게 가면 갈수록 예뻐져? 어떻게?
윤우야, 나 초코우유 사줘.
여기 내놔.
삼성?
She just accepted it. I would have expected her to reject it, but no, she's just like, all right, you offered.
아저씨 술 원샷 하시는 모습이 지금 너랑 닮았다.
That's me. If anyone offers to give me anything, I'll gladly accept it.
어머니가 미인이시구나.
너 아저씨랑 똑같이 생겼는데 무슨 소리야?
아니거든. 우리 아빠 완전 곰상이고 나 완전 강아지상이거든.
강아지상 미인이 최고지.
강아지 어떻게 생겼는지 몰라?
꺼져라.
아저씨 들으시면 서운하시겠다.
야,
아니 우리 형도 너 완전 아저씨랑 똑같다 그랬어.
뭐?
완전 똑 닮은 부녀라고.
윤우연, 네가 뭔데 수영한 빨리 들먹여?
소리야. 너이 개새끼 여자를 때려?
Oh no.
너네 지금 뭐 하는 거니? 이게 무슨?
I thought it was going to just be like a more humorous moment. So when I first watched this, I was like, how did it lead to this? But once again, quite. I like the like smaller events that are unexpected in the
Oya.
series. You just like don't expect it to lead to that result.
어떻게 남학생이 여학생이랑 싸울 수가 있어?
쌤 그게요.
I mean,
지금 이게 변명이
they
필요한
weren't
일이니?
actually fighting properly, I think is the difference. But yeah, perhaps
너
in school grounds,
고3이고 반장이야. 누구보다 모범을 보여야 할 네가 그랬다는 게
it wouldn't fly well by a teacher.
선생님은 좀 실망스럽다.
죄송합니다.
And it was unwanted too. Like it was more like you know, a moment of bad luck that you didn't expect to happen, where you didn't imagine something like that was supposed to be more like playful escalate into something that would draw the teacher's attention to that extent, especially when it's the person he loves. I'm back, so sorry, I'm back. Yeah, sorry, the this quality. The footage on my phone like is full. So, and I can't delete anything else. So I'll just finish the last 2 minutes of the episode with my laptop's camera. My bad. Oh, yes. Let me just rewind so it's like 21. Let me go back to when they hug at 2040. Yeah. I really like interactions where someone is feeling
고마워.
down or is wants comfort from someone
쌤한테
else, and
많이 혼났어?
the other person is there
그런
to
표정
be
처음
there for
봤어.
them.
쌤이 워낙 널 좋게 보셨으니까. 기분 많이 안 좋아?
그냥 좀
어떡하지?
위로해줘.
위로?
쓰담쓰담.
이렇게?
You know what I like about Doha's character and this moment here that really shows this in particular is that usually when another character is feeling certain emotions, maybe of like distress or just like of sadness from an event or just because of their state of mind, then the love interest will like not necessarily even be there, but oftentimes might comfort them or might be there for the other character. But it's often shown as like kind of them simply like holding the person or simply being there for them, which of course like is oftentimes enough for the other character, but sometimes it can be portrayed more so as an act of having to, like, even if it's not in a negative sense, endure their partner, like endure through that person's emotions as well, and let them, for instance, grieve or let them express the emotions that they need to express. Whereas here, what's interesting is that Doha is showing like a true like reflection even towards Woo Hyun's feelings, where he's genuinely empathizing with Woo Hyun here, and I like that it's shown through the specific angle of thinking of it like internally without even acting out anything in particular before Woo Hyun explicitly asks him to comfort him through certain gestures. He's actually thinking of Woo Hyun's state of mind as he is with him, and therefore kind of like living the experience with him from a different angle. Like the way it's being portrayed is such a nice detail, and once again adds to Doha's character, in my opinion. I saw that stare. Woo Hyun.
그리고
You can see the parallels between his feelings for the teacher and his feelings
집에
for
가자.
Doha.
늦겠다.
Someone
어
who shows him kindness and empathy.
너무 심하게 말했나? 가자마자
Nice. All right. Okay, so now I've caught up to the 2 episodes that I had seen. So it's going to be interesting to watch the rest of the 8 episodes. Sorry I had to change the camera, quote unquote, that I'm using. So now the quality's dipped, as you can tell. So I'll keep the outro short. But yeah, I'm excited to continue going forward, and even if no one watches these reactions, I'm having fun watching the series, and it's quite cool to kind of experiment with like this mic that I just got, and the cameras and the different webcams. But yeah, it's cool to see how the story is progressing, and I'm curious to see if any of my predictions will come true or if they'll be subverted, because that's something the series has been doing until now, is sort of leaning into cliches and then giving a different result or a different spin, or giving certain detail that changes the overall emotional impact that it has on the viewer. So I quite like that. All right. See you soon. Mwah.